Hello, I'm Dr. Mairi McLeod, and I'm the founder of Dating Evolved, and I help women over 50 find a good man for a great relationship using a science-based approach. And today, I'd like to introduce you to Katy Gordon. Hi, Katy. So Katy has gone through our group study and support program, and since then we've been keeping in touch because Katy's been coming along to our monthly group calls, more recently in the Dating Evolved Academy. So I've been privy to her ups and downs of our dating experiences, mostly ups in recent times. So we'll find out all about that now. So welcome, Katy. Would you like to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you?
Okay, so I'm Katy, and I have lived all my adult life in Scotland and then came to London 5 years ago. Kind of part of me hoping I would meet somebody, but I really came for work. And I work as I run the career service at a prominent university.
Cool, thank you. So before you started the Dating Evolved program, where would you say you were with relationships and dating and so on?
Despairing. I mean, it's not that I hadn't had relationships, but I kind of had got into a pattern of having relationships with unsuitable men, which I was kind of addicted to the excitement of who I was seeing, but really they weren't long-term prospects. And I just kept repeating that pattern. And I think I just never felt I was going to meet somebody for the long term.
Yeah, no, I can relate to that definitely. So what do you think were your biggest challenges in moving on from that situation, sort of improving that situation?
I think it was really just I did not ever believe that any bloke would ever want to be with me for me. I think from very early on in my relationship history, way back at uni, I think I'd gone through a whole sort of one night stand, excitement, fun in first year, second year, whatever. And I just think the lessons I learned from that were men were interested in me for the physical, and they wouldn't last in terms of anything else. And so it's not that I haven't had good relationships, but I've had more unsuitable than suitable. And I've been repeating a pattern. I found it very hard to break out of that pattern. And I think I'm having low self-esteem about that, which people wouldn't really believe when they met me. I think most people would not believe I had low self-esteem.
Yeah, I think that's a really common thing with lots of women. They come across as very confident and, maybe very confident in aspects of their lives, but when it comes to relationships, it can be pretty different.
I
Uh,
think the other thing is I also felt when I look back, and I just think I have been very career driven throughout my life. And I think I always believed it would happen if I'm out there, I'm available, and that. But then I think I started to feel that intelligent, confident, professional women, as you get older and as your I don't think I'd say looks fade, but as that becomes a less the thing you're going to be noticed for, just thinking it's not going to happen, and there isn't anyone out there interested in somebody who's intelligent, because all the guys my age want somebody 20 years younger.
yeah, I mean, there definitely are guys out there for sure, but yeah, I think we have to be a lot more proactive than a lot of women think. So how do you feel the Dating Evolve program helped with these things? Do you feel that it helped you overcome some of these blocks?
It definitely did. I mean, for thinking about the different aspects of it, I think the first thing was learning about the sort of the science based or the biology based aspect were kind of key to helping me really start to open up my mind. And I think one of the things you showed us fairly early on was the numbers and the proportion, and the fact that the inappropriate men are out there and appear to be out there more than the
Mm.
good ones, because they're recycling out there again all the time. So that was quite a light bulb moment, because I'm thinking, okay, yeah. And then I think the other thing about, you don't need to attract everyone, you just need to attract one person. So you don't always have to be on message all the time and be amazing for everyone. You need to be confident in your own individual quirks, enjoyments, skills, interests. I think that was quite an eye opener at the beginning. It took me a while to really register that, but I think the thing that opened my eyes was the fact you started with the biology and the sort of the history of evolution kind of thing, and that was a really good way of setting it up.
Cool. Yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of us sort of think we need to be sort of generally attractive, don't we? And we worry that if we put our quirks and our sort of specialities out there, that's going to put men off, and it will put men off. It will put a lot of men off, no doubt. But that doesn't really matter because they're not going to be the right kind of guys, are they? So,
yeah.
But if you show your true self, then the people that are into your sort of person, they're going to, you know, go for that much more in a big way.
I think there were other things in the course as the course went on, and I'm trying to remember all the different aspects of it. But I think also learning about how you approach men, and how to, one of the phrases I always remember you saying was give them a chance to shine. And I think maybe like many women like me, we kind of think the nice guys are boring, addicted to the sort of excitement of those who are possibly not the most appropriate.
Yeah.
And really naming those different types of men and starting to break down the fact that actually nice guys are not boring. In fact, you telling us about your own history was a really, really helpful way of illustrating what you meant. And I think I have now approached that much more as give people a chance to shine. I'm still not going to go for somebody that I find is absolutely appalling.
No, of course not.
I've had dates since where I'm like, just no. But others I've sort of thought, well, I'm not really sure, but I'll give them more time, you know? So that was a really good lesson to learn.
Yeah, I think that's a really important one. I mean, it certainly worked for me, as you said. But yeah, I think so many of us think, well, if there's no spark at the beginning, well, there's no point in carrying on. But actually, you know, a good strategy is to get to know someone as a friend, first of all, and then they grow on you and it becomes something much more powerful in the long term, in terms of, you know, being with someone that you want to, you know, carry on with. Yeah, that's really good.
Another aspect I would say, it's also about being more direct about what you need, and being clear about what you need. And I think now, when I look back, I don't think I used to think I was clear, but in discussions with blokes who said, well, I don't think that is very clear, I'm like, oh, okay. But I think in the course, it really made me think about, you need to say what you need. You need to, because I'm pretty good at flirting. I've always regarded that as something I'm good at and I enjoy.
Yeah.
But actually, you need to go beyond that, because if you flirt, part of that is the fun ambiguity. What you really need is to have clarity.
Yeah.
So that was a good thing to learn.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, that, you know, the flirting is fun at the beginning, but as you say, it's important to kind of get across that you are actually in this for finding a long-term relationship, not necessarily with this person, but that is what you're looking for. And if they're not that person, that, you know, if they're not looking for the same kind of thing, then there's not much point. I think a lot of people get put off by the fact that some men will kind of accuse you of being, you know, over needy and, you know, trying to overanalyze everything if you start talking like that. But if they do say those kind of things, then that kind of gives you an indication that they're probably not in it for the long term. You know,
that was another lesson, I think, is learning that it's not something about you. It's not a failure in you. It's them. It's on them, and so they're not appropriate. Rather than molding yourself to try and fit something that doesn't really work.
Yeah, perfectly put. Okay. So in the Dating Evolved program, we, you know, on our live calls, there's plenty of time for discussion in a small group, and we also have breakout rooms so that you can get to know each other really well, and then after the main part of the program, we have these monthly group calls as well for sort of ongoing support. Would you say that aspect of things has been helpful for you going forward?
Definitely. I think what's interesting is at the start, I was like, oh God, do we need to bother with that? Because I just want to learn. So I would probably have been happy to have a whole hour of you presenting and having a Q&A. But as I got to know the other women, it wasn't just a support group. It was really interesting to start to understand, one, I wasn't alone in the way I looked at things, but two, that actually other people's angles and ways of looking at things were also helpful. And as we went on that kind of journey together, also seeing how they might progress or tried things out and thinking, oh yeah, that's a good idea, or yeah, I wouldn't have done it like that, and giving advice. So it was a very mutually supportive aspect of the course, and so much so that at the end of the course, I think all of us really didn't want to say goodbye. And so I was delighted when you set up the monthly, I think it was, called catch-up calls.
Yeah.
And I think all of us, certainly me, have loved that aspect. Really like the fact that we're now a solid group, and we incorporated another person from another group at the beginning, at the start of those monthly catch-ups, and really are a very supportive group that can give good advice. But you're dying to know month to month what's happened to everyone else, what's their progress.
Yeah.
And one in particular who succeeded in getting into a relationship, a good relationship first. Kind of Adele was sort of my, I can be that too, I think. Whereas before the course started, I'd have just like, well, good for her, but that ain't gonna happen to me, you know?
Yeah, no, I've been amazed actually over the couple of years now that I've been running these programs. I'm just absolutely delighted about how much support and encouragement women get from each other. You know, that's a huge aspect of it. And it, you know, just that ongoing thing as well. It sort of keeps people moving along and having the motivation to keep taking action. So I think it's really good. So if you had to say sort of the biggest thing you got from the Dating Evolve program and ongoing support, is there a sort of any one thing that you could lay your finger on?
Well, I think it actually did finally make me believe it could happen for me, but that I needed to be more proactive. So it's on me to break out of my unhelpful patterns. And this gave me the tools to do that, but I still had to do it.
Yeah.
And little things you said, like go and, you know, don't forget the face-to-face meetings. I went to join Meetup, and actually that's been fantastic. I think I counted it up the other day, and I've been on 27 meetups in the past year. You know, it's about every second weekend, and going on walks and things like that. It's been fantastic. A great way to meet people, and just making sure that on each walk, I will talk to everyone, and particularly talk to any men that are there. Not in a, oh, you must be my next partner, but just, you said, put yourself out there so you're having more regular conversations. That's what I did.
Yeah, yeah. No, Meetup is great because, I mean, there are obviously lots of singles meetup groups, but there's a lot, I think what you generally find is that meetup groups in general probably have a lot of single people in them because those are people that are going out and about. So it's a great way to meet people in a way where you don't have any pressure on you to, you know, are you going to have a relationship with this person or not? You can just chat with them and be focused on something else while you get to know them. I think that's a really good way to meet. So, Katy, we'd love to know where you are now with dating and relationships. This is the $1 million question.
Well, having gone on so many meetups, I think it was the 8th of January. I know it was the 8th of January. I went on a meetup and was chatting to this guy, and at the end of the meetup walk, he asked me out, saying, I can't bear the thought of, would you go out for a drink? I can't bear the thought of never seeing you again.
Oh, what a line.
It was brilliant. It was actually the most romantic thing he's ever said. And Michael and I are still going strong more than 6 months later. And we've been on one holiday together, and we're going on another holiday next week. So it's not perfect, but I do kind of come and reflect on where I'm at in the monthly groups. And particularly in the early stages, I needed real coaching to ask those direct questions. Even stuff like, are you actually single? What is your dating history? Honestly, I never thought, I've never asked that before. So it's good. I really appreciate the advice from the regular monthly group to keep me on track, as it were. And I also feel the support willing me on. So, and I couldn't have done it without the course. I'm pretty darn sure I would not have been in this position without having done the course. So, you know, best money I've ever spent, frankly. And I would really recommend anybody to go on it, because if you've got to your 50s and you're in this position of, well, am I ever going to meet anyone? You're not going out to bars and clubs and that sort of stuff. You're not meeting as many people unless you do it. But when you do it, you need to do it strategically. So you need to admit, okay, I need help here. And then this course gives you the tools to do it. And then the support afterwards keeps you up to the mark in a supportive way.
Yeah.
So goodness, I'd say everybody do it.
Oh, thanks, Katy. So it sounds like
say that.
no, there was no. So things are definitely on the up for you then. You're feeling good about your relationship. So there may well be women listening who are feeling kind of despondent about relationship stuff and thinking, oh, there's no good guys out there. How is this ever going to happen? What would be your advice for them? You know, what would you suggest to them?
I would say I was that person. You know, I've been that person until I did the course. So I would say, one, go and do the course, and two, really take control of your future, because, you know, I'm not saying time's running out in your 50s, but if you want a long-term relationship, you need to get on with it. So you need to give the time for you rather than putting everything else first, as I've certainly done that. And you need to take the advice that's on the course. And because you can keep reflecting back every month, if you kind of have a misstep, you'll kind of get that advice each month. It's just about not being afraid to try. It's like, feel the fear and do it anyway. The course gives you the tools. It gives you it gave me the confidence. And when I think about the others, I was quite inspired. I am still inspired by the other women on the course, and really like them. You know, they've been a great support group. So do it. Get on with it. It's in your hands.
Oh, thanks so much, Katy. Well, it's been amazing being on this journey with you, and I'm so pleased to see you happy in a relationship now. It's absolutely brilliant. So so I hope everyone out there listens to what you're saying and take some action, because that's what you need to do. You need to take action.
Yeah.
And yeah, so we'll leave you with that then. And yeah, thank you very much. It's been wonderful.
Thank you.
Okay, take care.